Welcome to Just Not Cricket. My name is Hal Stewart and I have Adam Scott with me today. You're waving, Adam.
I am.
For my benefit only.
A cheery wave.
Yeah, that was quite cheery. You seem in a good mood.
No.
Oh, so for those that have never listened to Just Not Cricket before, why? Adam, you haven't got your headphones on.
The mysterious player of mystery.
Listen to that cretin. Couldn't hear your favourite bit.
You called me a cretin.
So you are going to give it away that that's your voice.
Surely, if people are hearing my voice now, they will recognise that that was my voice 20 seconds ago.
A lot of people think this is Joe Lycett.
Really? Really? Okay.
Yeah, and I've really gone OTT on the budget. So the mysterious player of mystery, it's my turn to set this for Adam. The way this works is, hello Adam, you're waving again. I'm going to give you the clubs of a, hopefully, well-known professional male footballer.
I mean, you say hopefully, I mean, some of them have been pretty obscure.
Romario's the one you're referring to.
Yes.
And the way it is if you get it straight away, by that we mean at the end, you get 3 points. If you need a clue, you get 1 point. If you don't get it, if you don't get it at all, you get nil points. Some of these players are retired, some of them are currently playing. I'm not going to tell you.
How many have you picked?
in the annals of history that we've done this.
I'm doing a lot better at this game than I thought I would.
You are doing well. The score is...
Are we not level?
No.
Are you in front now?
Yes.
I feel like you've just edged in front.
After I got Titi Kumara and Ringabert Song last week.
Well, you only got one of those.
Yeah, but I got the right one.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it was.
It was Ringabert Song.
Was it? Okay.
And I was very upset when you said that name, because I thought I had you.
I think it's 11-10 to me.
I feel like you should know specifically.
I really should.
Can I just say before we go into this one, Romario.
Yes,
I just want to make it clear that I only really know Romario as a Brazilian international. It would be like if you told me the clubs that Pelé played for.
Santos.
Obviously, I've heard of Pelé. I couldn't tell you his career.
Well, I did also give you Romario's international breakdown. So.
Only after you gave the answer.
You still didn't get it. All right, now let's start with a club that Romario played for. PSV, De Graafschap. Now, I don't know how you pronounce this. Is it Agovv or Agov?
I like Agov.
Agov! Heerenveen, Ajax, Real Madrid, Milan, Schalke 04. Schalke 04.
Yeah.
Schalke.
Yeah.
And Ajax again. Any ideas at this stage?
I know it.
Oh, you've already got it?
I got it.
I'll tell you what. Let's see. Give me the position.
Striker.
He might have got it. Have you got it? In Listenerland, we will reveal at the end. Do you know what? I knew I made this one too easy. Why do I want to let you back in? We've only got one more game of this, and that's going to be my turn. We could end up level. Then we'd have to what?
Could we end up level?
Well, we don't know what the score is, so let's say yes. It's going to be like, when you're playing football, and no matter what the score is, it's next goal wins.
Next goal wins, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Because we've got to go in for our tea.
It's going to be so obscure next week.
I haven't asked, by the way. How are you?
Yeah.
Okay, we are welcoming back to the podcast a gentleman we chatted with a few weeks ago, actually, on this very forum. Adrian Bell, a Sheffield United fan. You might remember he was the guy that hitchhikes from game to game as far away as Plymouth. He's actually very glad that Plymouth aren't in the Championship at time of recording. Adrian Bell, welcome back to the podcast.
Amazingly, I've still got the same T-shirt on. I have washed it.
Adrian, we always ask our guests, in your years of following the Mighty Blades, as Hal insists I call them,
Mighty Blades,
what is your first choice 11? From players you yourself have lain your eyes on, who's your first choice 11?
I thought about this on the trip to work on the bus. Sometimes I think it's best not to overthink these things. Sometimes I think you just go with the first names that come into your head. And that's pretty much what I've done. So I'll start with the goalkeeper, Jim Brown. Scottish international, had an absolute cracker of a season in 1974-75, and I remember seeing him save a penalty against Chelsea. John Hollins, who always used to put his penalties in the top corner, well, Jim Brown was wise to this. It was almost as if he was already waiting up by the top corner. Defied science, that save did. So Jim Brown, I was in awe of Jim Brown. Unfortunately, the following season, we got relegated, and as my dad always said afterwards, Jim Brown's career was ruined by being shell-shocked because he was behind that rubbish defence. I don't think I've seen anybody better, apart from maybe Alan Kelly. But anyway, Jim Brown. Even though we currently play that wonderful 5-3-2 or 3-5-2, whichever way you want to describe it. I have gone for a traditional 4-4-2, I'm afraid.
Everyone has so far. We respect that.
I have gone for my fullbacks, Kyle Walker and Ted Hemsley. I thought, how could you have Ted Hemsley without Len Badger? But then I thought, how could you not have Kyle Walker in your team? Especially as I saw his debut against Leyton Orient on a freezing cold night in the FA Cup. And also in the recent World Cup shenanigans. I watched just about every game in this pub in Walton-on-Thames, which was local to where I work. And it's safe to say everybody within a minute of meeting me knows who I support. So everybody in that pub was left in no doubt who I supported, and that I'd made Harry Maguire the man that he is, and Kyle Walker the same.
Yeah.
Because I was saying, I remember when they first played for Sheffield United, I was there at Kyle Walker's debut. I couldn't say for certain whether it was at Harry Maguire's debut or not, but I told them that anyway.
Of course. Get
And
it out there.
so Kyle Walker has to be in there at right back. At left back, I did go for Ted Hemsley because you all know that we haven't been blessed with wonderful left backs at Sheffield United. I did think about picking Gary Naismith because I know how much you loved him.
Yeah,
You
he
did,
was
didn't you?
truly awful as one of the worst left backs I've ever seen.
And I also remember you saying that he never acknowledged the fans at the end of the game.
You're so needy.
I just want to be acknowledged. Some people have hitchhiked all the way to Plymouth.
Absolutely. So I went for Ted Hemsley because also he played cricket during the summer. The one time I met him, guess what we talked about? We talked about cricket. He used to play for Worcestershire and he was an all-rounder. So I think he could play at left back and he could shore up the middle order.
Nice. My dad's enjoying this 11 so far.
So will mine, I think. In central defence, I've got the aforementioned Harry Maguire because, as I said, I nurtured him and made him the player that he is, obviously, by chanting his name. Actually, I did once get his attention. You know when Hull City beat Sheffield Wednesday in the playoff final?
I like to watch the replays every other weekend, yeah.
Yeah. My friend is a Hull City fan and he had a spare ticket on row A and he couldn't get anybody else to go. Can't think why. He asked me and I said yes, thinking if Sheffield Wednesday win, this is going to be the worst day of my life. But as it turned out, it was pretty good. And I'd got on my Exile Blade shirt with the Sheffield United badge on, which I only revealed once I got in the ground because I had to walk through all the Sheffield Wednesday fans to get into. I had to wear shades as well.
I think I might have told you before, I've worn a Blade shirt in the summer at a Wednesday game and it didn't go well. It was an away game for them. I was obviously in the home end for York. It was a friendly. And I remember waking up next to the car with the police officer standing over me.
Well, I was worried that as a Z-list celebrity as well, I might get recognised. So I put the cricket hat on and put my shades on and walked through them talking, saying apples and pears and things like that, just so people think I was from Sheffield.
Yeah.
So once I was in, I revealed the Sheffield United Exile Blade shirt. And at the end, when it's the only time I've ever watched a team celebrating with the trophy at Wembley.
Yeah, of course.
Because as you know, with Sheffield United, we're normally out and gone as soon as the final whistle goes, aren't we? So, and by the time the teams came round, and bearing in mind I was on row A, and so there's Harry Maguire waving the trophy around, and I shouted, Harry! Harry! And he looked, and I just pointed at my badge, my Sheffield United badge, and he did. He wet himself. He was laughing. So
That is a great story. You're going to make his head bigger than it already is.
Little things like that, Harry Maguire was obviously thinking about that as he headed that goal against Sweden in the quarterfinals.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah. So, and I'm pairing him with Eddie Colloon just because Eddie Colloon was an absolute Blades legend. He was like Chris Morgan, but in the days where you could elbow somebody and not get red carded for it. So Eddie Colloon was an absolute tough nut. He was Sheffield United's captain as well. He was a proper lead by example captain. And the one thing that I really remember about Eddie Colloon was one time when he got side down by, I think it was a Grimsby Town player. It was an absolute disgrace of a tackle. I think the Grimsby player got sent off. But before the ref could get there, and Colloon, despite the fact that he'd actually been chopped off from the knee downwards, he actually managed to stand up again, and as his legs were giving way beneath him and he crumpled back to the ground, he managed to pummel the Grimsby Town player in the stomach at least 4 or 5 times before he went back down to the deck. And I thought, that is a legend. The fact that he was obviously in absolute agony, but he still managed to stand up just to hit this player several times.
And Adam, Adrian mentions Eddie Colquhoun. There can't be many players to this day that fans still sing about on a game-by-game basis, but Eddie Colquhoun is one of those.
I feel like in modern-day parlance, he would be described as uncompromising.
Yeah, no nonsense.
No nonsense. A
Yeah.
no-nonsense centre-back.
That's right.
He ended up running a newsagents in Barnsley. And I've often thought about how he would react if somebody under the age of 16 tried to buy Rizzlers from him, you know. probably jumped over the counter and punched him in the stomach.
The opinions of Adrian Bell, not necessarily the Just Not Cricket podcast.
As a newsagent owner, he was described as uncompromising.
And no nonsense.
And no nonsense.
In fact, it was called No Nonsense Newsagent.
It probably was in Barnsley. It's the only way they could get people to go in and feel safe.
Again,
So,
opinions of Adrian Bell.
I did like Barnsley. I did work there for 3 months, and I've never forgotten those 3 months. So that's my defence. Now, in midfield, I'll go for the central midfielders first. This was a bit like the Len Badger and Ted Hemsley thing, in where the first time I kicked out Len Badger, this time I've got to go with the central defensive pairing of Tony Curry and Trevor Hockey. Tony Curry was at his best when Trevor Hockey was able to get the ball off somebody and then give it to Tony Curry. That was his one instruction: get the ball, give it to Curry. I would say Trevor Hockey was quite uncompromising. My brother used to deliver his newspaper,
Nice.
and he had a pink piano in his front room, and he had a Volkswagen Beetle with a velvet bonnet.
Are you sure
And
your brother wasn't having a fever dream or something? This sounds
Definitely sounds like a euphemism of some kind. His velvety bonnet.
And Tony Curry, I'm so privileged that I have been able to see Tony Curry play football at his best with Sheffield United.
He'd be in most Blades fans' greatest 11.
Oh, yeah.
without
And
doubt.
he scored the first goal that I ever saw at Bramall Lane as well. And it's
Nice,
still, by
yeah.
some people, reckoned to be the best goal ever scored. The one against Liverpool that he smacked in from about 35 yards.
I have seen the highlights.
Yeah, well, I'm there on the John Street Terrace right at the front. Kevin Keegan scored for Liverpool, so I think that's quite good. First game, Kevin Keegan and Tony Curry were the goal scorers.
Both played for England.
We all know who the best was. We all know the biggest Mardy bum is as well, and it's not Tony Curry. Now, on the wings, I've gone for Alan Woodward. Again, you can't really have Woody without Curry. So Alan Woodward would often provide each other with the ball. The result would usually end up with the ball in the back of the net. Alan Woodward also
Adam's
had-
just giving me a look, which just
It was you can't have Woody without Curry.
Look,
Well, that's
whatever
words
helps.
to live by, I
whatever
felt.
helps.
I feel like that should be on a T-shirt. Are we doing merchandise?
We should definitely do. You can't
that on.
have a Woody without a Curry first.
Yeah, and I think it'd look good on one of those retro style away shirts. You know, the white ones with the red collar and cuffs.
I'm in.
I think we've got onto something there. Alan Woodward had the hardest shot I've ever seen,
My dad always said he was the greatest player never to play for England.
without a doubt. It was an absolute disgrace that he never played for England. I think he played one game for the Football League representative 11. That was considered an honour back in those days. These days it'd be an insult, wouldn't
Yeah,
it? really?
absolutely,
But he was silver-haired before his time.
Nothing
and I
wrong with
remember
that.
Wednesday fans at school used to call him Grecian 2000. How funny is that? And on the left wing, again, a bit like left backs, we've not been over blessed.
Oh, I can think of one.
Go on then, who would you think of?
Dane Whitehouse.
Oh yeah, forgot about him. Damn it. Well, I'm sorry, Dane, but I've already selected Ian Bryson.
Bryson.
God.
Ian Jock Bryson was one of my heroes when I was growing up. He didn't score many, but when he did, they tended to be crackers.
He scored a lot when he was playing as a stand-in centre forward.
Yeah.
He could be used as an emergency centre forward from time to time.
Right, I'm not having that. So Dane Whitehouse. And then up front,
Brian Dean and Billy Sharp. Again, the Keith Edwards thing may upset a few people. The reason that I've gone for Billy Sharp, because obviously Brian Dean would be most people's. I think most people would probably go Brian Dean and Keith Edwards, wouldn't they? The reason I've gone for Billy Sharp is that I needed somebody to represent the current. I have seen some of the best football I've ever seen at Bramall Lane last couple of seasons. Well, these last 3 seasons,
well,
really.
you could have had John Lundstrom in there, couldn't you?
I could have over Trevor Hockey, but I thought certainly with Billy Sharp's recent goal scoring record breaking, so he's there to represent the current squad, and also because he's in his third spell with Sheffield United, but it's by far his best spell. He's turning into a legend, if not already, and he's the team captain. In with Brian Dean, it'd be a very interesting partnership. And Brian Dean, he was so much more gifted than people outside of Sheffield United realised, in that they just thought he was, and I've heard him say this in an interview where he goes, people think I'm just a big target man, but he isn't. he can shoot with his right and left foot, and he was good in the air. And some of the goals that he scored, some of those delicate little chips that he'd score, and including the one from like 45 yards over Bruce Grobbelaar. I mean, that was just skill that we've never seen at Sheffield United before or since.
Yeah, but he played for West Ham.
Played for Leeds as well.
Oh,
but,
yeah, you're right. I mean, how on earth did he make it? So did Billy.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
A question for both of you, because the current Sheffield United squad, and also your 11 there, very British. So could I ask you both, who's your favourite foreign player that
Adrian,
has played for the Blades?
Do you mind if I leap in on this one first? I said in the previous podcast my favourite foreign Blades player was Jan Arge Fjortov, and just yesterday he liked one of my tweets.
Oh,
How did that make you feel?
I mean, I've witnessed a wedding, my own, graduated from university,
Yes.
driving test, greatest day of my life, bar none.
I can understand that.
Adrian?
Do you think when he liked your tweet, do you think he did the aeroplane celebration at the same time? Or did you do the aeroplane
I was going to say
celebration?
we both would have done it in unison across Scandinavia to Britain. It was happening, and I had a wonderful time. Isn't that a beautiful
Truly.
story?
Emotional.
That is beautiful, actually.
I don't know who's going
You
to
see,
play me in the film. Go on, who's your favourite foreigner?
I would probably go for Alex Sabella because of all the hoo-ha when he first signed, because it was just after the Argentinian, the World Cup in Argentina in 1978. And Harry Haslam and Keith Birkinshaw, the Spurs manager, had gone over to Argentina on a scouting mission. And I remember reading in one of the papers when I was supposedly doing my paper round that Ozzy Ardiles insisted that he'd signed for Sheffield United. And I remember thinking, well, that can't be right. And of course, it turned out it wasn't. It was him and Villa had gone to Spurs. But Harry Haslam was over there. And of course, that was all part of the infamous Diego Maradona, 16-year-old. You can have him for 600,000. And our board saying, 600,000 for an unknown 16-year-old? No way. So we ended up signing a gentleman called Alex Sabella instead. And of course, we weren't right bothered about not signing Diego Maradona at the time because we didn't know who he was. So we were just happy that we'd got it was our first overseas player, and it was one of the because British football was very insular at the time, so it was at the start really of the foreign imports coming in, and Alex Sabella just had sublime skill, the like of which we'd only seen before from Tony Curry. He used to play with his socks rolled down as well. There was also a classic badge that said Alex Sabella has laid on more balls than.
I don't know where this is
What's
going,
her
but
name?
I like it already.
The actress. Come on.
That's it, the actress, Adam. You
The
can get it
actress,
from that.
she was in that thing.
A woman and an actress. And I guess from the
Angela Lansbury.
insinuation, a bit of a hussy.
Oh, well, I take that back then.
from the 70s.
You're younger than me.
Before I was born. You're older than me, you should know.
She was in Dynasty.
Joan Collins?
Yes.
Well
yes!
done, Adam. I knew you'd know it.
I'm good at this game. Unfortunately, you are both wrong because the answer on the card I have is Vasilis Bolbokis.
Vas Bobokis. Adrian, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us. This has gone on far too long, so we'll have to let you go.
Okay.
Cheers, Adrian.
Cheers, Adrian. Adrian
All right,
Bell, thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye, mate. Now it's one of the favoured features of the podcast. Adam, you won't know what we're doing, so I'll tell you.
Yes.
It's your bit, Wikipedia Club.
Oh, I've done one of those.
Wikipedia Club.
Hi, Hal.
Hi, Adam.
We've been quite a few places with Wikipedia
You've
Club.
taken us to some pretty obscure places. I was doing minor teams before we gave this to you, like Benfica and Fiorentina, but
Yes.
you've really taken us to some places I wasn't expecting.
What, like
Pune City.
Fenerbahce and Olympiacos.
All right, they were quite big, yeah.
Well, we haven't gone too obscure today. We're not too far from home either. We are just across the channel in La Belle France, and we are in the south of that country,
Oh,
near the Mediterranean coast.
I think I know.
Tell me.
Marseille.
How? We are going to Montpellier. Montpellier Hero Sport Club, commonly referred to as Montpellier HSC or simply Montpellier, a professional French association football club based in the city of...
Montpellier.
You nailed it.
I love their kit.
You know, we'll get to that. Montpellier is one of the founding members of the First Division of French football, along with Marseille, Rennes, Sochaux and Nice. Montpellier is one of only a few clubs to have played in the inaugural 1932-33 season and is still playing in the First Division.
Who won that inaugural season?
I do not know.
Research, honestly.
Although, and as I say that out loud, I don't think Sochaux are in the First Division.
Well, you know what? This is timeless, so you can get away with that.
Okay. In 1914, a group of wealthy citizens of the city decided to create a multi-sports club. Their plans were interrupted by a little event that occurred that year, World War I. Although they didn't call it that.
No, what did they call it?
World War.
Right. Do you know, the thing is with these multi-sport clubs, it seems quite popular in Europe and in South America, but we don't really have them in Britain.
Now, there's a lot of big-name European sides. We mentioned Olympiakos and Fenerbahce.
They've got a basketball team. haven't they?
The big Serbian clubs, Red Star and Partizan, operate a number of different sporting clubs.
I'll tell you now, if you start over here, like a Manchester United basketball team, people suddenly start taking interest in the British Basketball League.
Would they?
Maybe not.
After the First World War, which they didn't call it, actually, towards the end of the First World War, in 1917, they finally got their wish, founding the Stade Olympique Montpellierien.
Are you sure that's right? Are you happy you're resting on that one?
In 1917, they finally got their wish, finding the Stade Olympique. I can't say
No, you
Olympique.
can do this. I'm not editing this either.
In 1917, they finally got their wish, founding the Stade Olympique Montpellierien. In 1919, the club merged with football club La Vie au Grand Air de Languedoc.
Montpellierien sounds a little bit like when they were coming up with the name, the guy was on the phone, what are you going to call the stadium? He was going to say just the Montpellier. As he was saying it, he was about to sneeze. We're going to call it the Montpellier.
I believe it translates to Montpellier-ish.
Montpellier-ish.
Ish.
I prefer that as a name.
And they founded with the club with the long name that I just said that I'm not going to say again.
Don't say again.
And that gave the Sport Association their route into football. In July 1930, they were one of the first clubs in France to adopt a new statute and go professional, and financial ups and downs followed until in 1970, the club lost a lot of players to local side Formation Sportive de Netourmont, which was owned by local entrepreneur Louis Nicolin,
I don't really know that team.
whose association with Montpellier Football Club would become quite significant. The club merged with Montpellier Littoral and then AS Palier in an effort to stay afloat. Such were the financial problems at the time. And in 1974, they also merged with the aforementioned Formation Sportive de Netourmont, with Nicolin dissolving that original club, that's why you've not heard of them, to take control of the full Montpellier brand. It's something he would do until his death on his 74th birthday, sadly, after which his son took over the running of the club. Nicolin actually had the largest one of the largest collections of football shirts in the world.
How many?
More than 4,500.
That is incredible. I used to collect football shirts when
How
I
many
was...
do you have?
was just shy of 4,500. I got up to 36.
Well, that's a strong effort.
Thank you.
It's a strong effort. In 1989, the club received financial backing from the General Council of Hérault, the region in which Montpellier is based, and it renamed itself Montpellier Hérault Sports Club, the name it holds to this day. And that investment was put towards some players I think you may have heard of. Laurent Blanc,
Oh, yes.
Cantona,
Famous kisser, Laurent Blanc.
Carlos Valderrama,
Famous hair.
and future World Cup winning boss Amir Jacquet was the coach. Having spent the bulk of its time in Ligue 1, albeit with a short drop all the way down to the third tier, the club shocked France when in 2011-2012 season they took the Ligue 1 title for the very first time, finishing 3 points ahead of PSG. And this was the first season that PSG had all that money.
Yeah,
So they
amazing.
had been the odds-on favourite to take that, but it was not meant to be. A bit of a Leicester City story, actually, in French football. Montpellier play at the Stade de la Mousson with its capacity of
I'm going to say 30.
32,900, and they play in a rather fetching kit, which you mentioned earlier, of blue and orange. You like that combination, do
Yeah,
you?
it's a really good combo.
Domestically, they have won that single Ligue 1 title in 2011-2012. They have been champions of Ligue 2 3 times. They've won the French Cup twice. They've won the French League Cup once. And the biggest achievement in 1999, the same year that West Ham did the same thing, they lifted the Intertoto Cup, beating Hamburg in one of the cup finals. They say they lifted the Intertoto Cup. They, of course, didn't, because there is no actual cup.
And Metz were the team that West Ham beat.
And Metz were the team that West Ham
Also
beat.
French.
Indeed, what a small world we live in. The club's first ever coach was a Scotsman
Really?
called Victor Gibson.
Come on here.
Currently, though, they do have a slightly more exotic coach in the Armenian/French former Montpellier player Michel de Sakaryan.
Yeah, when I hear exotic, I think Armenia.
Have you been?
No, have you?
Do you know anything about it?
Mount Ararat is in Armenia.
I don't think it is. I think you'll find it's on the Turkish border, Turkish side of the border.
Let's have a look. You might be right. The mountain range of Mount Ararat is called the Armenian Highlands. So it wasn't a stupid thing to say.
Stretch into Armenia.
Yeah, technically here we were both right.
No. Technically, I was right.
It's on the extreme east of Turkey,
Yes.
bordering Armenia.
It's in Turkey.
Yes, it is in Turkey.
Key players include midfielder Paul Lajné, Portuguese defender Pedro Mendes, striker Gaetan Laborde, whose signing from Bordeaux prompted the resignation of then-coach Gus Poyet.
And Thierry Henry said he could not work under those kind of conditions, and he wanted to go somewhere much more stable, so he went to Monaco.
And two veteran players, the Senegalese attacker Souleymane Camara and Brazilian defender and captain Hilton. I mentioned some of their former players earlier, Laurent Blanc, Eric Cantona, Carlos Valderrama. Pascal Balis, the defender, is their record appearance maker with 429. Who do you reckon is their top goal scorer?
Montpellier.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I'll give
bit-
you a clue. It's not the former Everton striker Ibrahima Bakayoko.
Thank you. Am I going to know this?
You'd never guess. It's Laurent Blanc.
No way.
It is Laurent Blanc. He scored 84 goals in all
Wow.
competitions because he started his career, Montpellier, one of his early clubs, he started his career as an attacking midfielder.
That's incredible.
I had no idea of that, but yes, Laurent Blanc still Montpellier's record goal scorer, and not likely to be beat at the moment because Camara, who is 36, I think now, the only current one close to him on the roster still playing, he's only got 59.
He's not going to do that.
So he's not going to make it.
Wow, that's a really good one to finish on.
And that is Montpellier.
Can you give it its full name? I like hearing you say it.
And that is Montpellier Hero Sport Club.
Can we get a quick update on our Adrian Mutu crowdfunding?
It's not going well.
Oh, it's not gone down. has it?
Somehow we have lost money. I don't
We've
know where
actually
that went.
goes into the minus figures.
I don't quite know what happened there.
Yeah.
Have you been to Greg's?
I brought back a game that we haven't played for a little while.
Buckaroo.
Well, we will play that, but while we're doing this, Twitterati. Who has the most followers on Twitter?
You or me? You.
You're not on Twitter.
Yes.
So for that
So it's
reason.
definitely you.
Well, I have 2 accounts. So I've
So
got
definitely you.
double the chance. Who has more followers on Twitter? Is it the most prolific English goal scorer of his generation, Billy Sharp, or former Tooting and Mitcham United winger, Mikel Antonio?
I mean, one of those is a proven goal scorer at the highest level,
Oh,
and the other one is
funny.
Billy Sharp.
Very funny.
See what I did?
Put a sock in it
Oh.
because of Billy Sharp doing the soccer celebration.
I believe that's what people call banter.
We don't do banter. Don't say
Well,
we do banter.
I can't do banter.
Anyone who says that we do banter, I instantly loathe them.
I can't. I physically can't do
No,
banter.
you can't do banter. I once tried banter and I was sick.
You vomited.
In my mouth.
Everywhere.
All over the place. Out of my arse as well.
Okay. At that point, you were asked to leave the cinema. What was the question?
Who's got more followers on Twitter, Billy Sharp or Mikel Antonio?
One of them plays for a Premier League club, which you'd think would have more reach, or the other one plays for a club in some minor division. And it's sort of the second team in its city.
Sheffield FC were the first team, I'll give you that.
That's what I mean.
I know that's what you mean.
Second team.
I got it.
That would be a good question. Have you done that question? Who has more Twitter followers, Sheffield United or Sheffield Wednesday?
No, because I looked it up.
Ah, okay. So just by basis on the fact that he plays in the Premier League, which is watched by more people, although I would say that the Championship is a much better league to watch.
Darn straight.
Mikel Antonio.
I think that the reason that it's not Mikel Antonio is to do with Billy Sharp's longevity, the amount
Yes.
of clubs he's played for, and his Socko celebration,
Is
which
that a new thing?
went viral. Yes, and a
'Cause
lot
I
of
only heard about it the
America-
other week.
America heard about it.
Well, Mick Foley heard about
yeah,
it.
he retweeted it, and
See,
that's
I know
that's
my
helped.
references.
And Mick Foley's going to come over and watch a game at Bramall Lane. So Mikel Antonio has 84,000.
You kind of looked to the heavens like you were just making that up off the top of your head.
84.1. I wasn't sure whether to
Pick
put
a
the-
number. 84.
Well, I just suddenly thought about this whole game is pointless because it's timeless, so that I'll change.
Oh yes, I mean most of this is pointless.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, Mikel Antonio, 84.1 thousand. Billy Sharp, 210,000. What did you just break?
I'm sorry, I was playing with a stapler.
Okay. Derby time. Who has more followers, Blackburn Rovers or Burnley?
Oh, see again, it's the same thing. Burnley Premier League club, Blackburn Championship club.
Blackburn have won the Premier
But
League.
Blackburn have won the Premier League, although that probably predates Twitter. Do we predate to Twitter? To Twitter, as they call it, as the kids say?
The Twitter.
To Twitter.
Oh, is it to Twitter?
To Twitter.
Is that what he said? Okay.
Yeah, that's what they said.
No, the first person, of course, we all know that was on Twitter was Stephen Fry.
Yes.
I think he created the internet.
Yeah, oh, he did. Burnley or Blackburn?
It's a good one, this. I think these are all quite good today.
It's a very hard question. Although it didn't work last time, but just by dint of them being a Premier League club, dint is a word.
It is a word, yeah. It's not the word I expected to use there, that's all.
Gotta be Burnley.
It is Burnley. 393k. For Blackburn, it is 219k.
I wonder how many people live in Burnley. Google that immediately.
Wow. Okay, this is quite interesting. So the population of Burnley, this is amazing when you consider 393,000.
Yeah, I was thinking the population of Burnley was much less than that number.
So the population of Burnley in 1991
Yes.
was 91,000.
Uh-huh.
The population of Burnley now is 87,000. It's
Well,
gone
there you
down.
go.
And I've been to Burnley, and it is, of course, the home of the Co-op.
Okay.
Battle of former players turned pundits.
Yes.
Dion Dublin
Uh-huh.
or Martin Keown.
Dublin.
Because he does Homes Under
Because
the
he
Hammer.
does he's branched out into daytime television.
So that's exactly why I put him, because that's what I would have thought as well. Dion Dublin, 207,000 followers.
He's on the BBC.
Martin Keown, 264,000 followers.
And Martin Keown
I am
is just-
surprised at that. Did I tell you the time I interviewed Martin Keown?
You didn't. I feel like you're going to.
So I said to Martin, when I did my introduction, a man who got over 30 caps for England. And he said, can I stop you there? I actually got over 40. And I said, well, not to be pedantic, but over 30 is also the same.
Oh, so he really warmed to you right from the
Yeah,
outset.
so we didn't get on.
You clicked.
We didn't get on.
When he says over 40, what is is it 41?
It's 43.
Okay. Yeah. He got over 42 caps.
How many goals?
None.
2.
Oh, okay.
How many goals in his entire career?
How many appearances?
585 league appearances.
16.
8. Half
Oh.
of what you just guessed.
When it comes to goal-scoring centre-backs, you want Laurent Blanc in your side.
Certainly not. But I do believe Martin Keown was never an attacking midfielder for Montpellier. Which player has played in the North London, Merseyside and Manchester derbies and has won the Premier League, FA Cup, Champions League and European Championship?
What nationality are they?
French.
North London derby, Manchester derby,
Merseyside.
Merseyside, Anelka.
Yes! Do you want to see what my clue was going to be?
What was your clue? I don't think I would have got that from that clue.
Because that's the Incredible Hulk, and
Yeah.
he was known as the Incredible Sulk.
I wouldn't have.
You wouldn't have got that?
I
Wouldn't have made that connection?
No.
Okay. Also very visual. Which 8 English cities can have derby matches?
Derby.
No.
You're saying Derby can't have a derby match? Surely every match in Derby is a derby match.
Fine, I'll give you that. Which 9 English cities can have derby matches?
London, Manchester.
By the way, which London derbies are you thinking of?
Oh, well, the biggest.
Right.
West Ham, Crystal Palace. Manchester,
So you said London, Manchester, yes.
Liverpool,
Liverpool's correct.
Sheffield.
Sheffield, of course.
I believe there is a big derby there.
Very big derby there. But Sheffield FC and Sheffield United don't play that often. It's usually just friendly games.
And I believe that's 8.
Do you want some help?
No. Bristol.
Yes.
That is a derby match there. City and Rovers, although not currently in the same division.
There's a big one.
Yes, I'm getting there. Did you
Okay.
say England or the UK?
England.
England, yes. Birmingham.
Yep. Now we're getting tricky.
So how many is that? 6?
You got 2 left.
2 left. Okay.
So yes, 6.
So now you're saying it gets tricky.
It gets a little harder now.
Nottingham.
Yes, and now the really difficult one. Have you got it at home, at work, or in the car?
Forgive me while I go into silent mode.
Do you want me to feel like I do when I'm on the radio?
There was no sort of preparation for this, as you could probably tell.
Okay. I'll just
For
some
any of
filling.
this, in fact, as you could probably tell that too.
We've got Halsey, Fleur East, and Florence and the Machine still to come after Traffic and Travel. Then we'll reveal the answer to which 8 English cities can have derby matches. Was that right? Did that help you?
Just trying to think of English cities.
Robbie Williams.
Oh, of course.
Yep, you got
This
it.
is the famous statistic that one of these 2 clubs is not named after
That's it. It's the only club in England not named after the place. That is, of course,
the city of Stoke,
Yep.
Stoke City, and Port Vale.
of Burslem. Very good, Adam.
8 out of 9, I think, is not too shabby.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually out of 8.
I mean, I added one that you didn't even think of.
You're right, you really made me look silly. Pants down. Would you mind indulging, Adam and I? We're just going to have a quick game of Subbuteo. Can you just move your elbow there, Adam? Thank you.
Sorry.
Here we go.
There you go. You got that?
Oh, missed.
The mysterious player of mystery.
All right, here's the clubs. PSV, De Graafschap, Agov, Heerenveen, Ajax, Real Madrid, Milan, Schalke 04, Ajax.
Now, do you want me to do some pretense of thinking about it before I say Jan Klaus Huntelaar?
Yes, I do.
Or should I just say...
No, I want the pretense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like it's a striker.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the move from Ajax to Real Madrid
That's what did it for you.
that kind of swayed me.
Was it a successful move, do you think?
Well, I mean, it was that during the Galacticos era? Was that the Galacticos era? come to an
2009,
end?
so I'd say that's
I feel like
after.
this striker couldn't act, he wasn't first choice at Real Madrid.
That's certainly true.
There were bigger name players ahead of him. And I also remember him moving to the Bundesliga, sort of reigniting his career at Schalke. And that player is the former Dutch international striker, Jan Klaus Huntelaar.
I'm afraid it's Klaus-Jan Huntelaar, so 0 points.
Huntelaar.
Yes, you can have that, 3 points. So the score is... Just insert that there when we figure it out. That's how podcasts work. For the Netherlands, the under-21s, 23 appearances, 18 goals.
That's not a bad record.
For the Netherlands, in the full Netherlands
I
side.
feel like this would have been an ample opportunity for you to do a Dutch accent.
Yeah, you would have thought so. For the Netherlands, he scored 42 goals in 76 games.
I regret it.
His nephew, Kian Huntelaar, is now a professional footballer. He's 20. He plays in midfield for De Graafschap, just like his uncle did.
Oh, that's quite sweet. I wonder if he'll have the career that his uncle did.
Well, De Graafschap, he only played 9 times and scored 0 goals.
Is he a striker?
I just said he was a midfielder.
Oh, I wasn't listening.
Okay, fine.
I mean, your accent is so thick, I wasn't quite... I mean, most of what you say is not coming through.
Well, that's pretty much it from us for another episode of Just Not Cricket. Thanks very much again to CM0102SL, the Championship Manager 0102 Super League. Do give them a follow on Twitter. Check out their blogs and watch their streams. They're very, very good and wonderful supporters of this podcast. We're also available on Twitter at JNCPod. Now, Adam, it is time for you, in your own inimitable style, to see us out.
So, how? Imagine, if you will,
I will.
one of our listener has...
It doesn't work like that.
Oh, I thought I got it right for once. One of our listeners has basically won the prize of a lifetime.
A kumquat.
He or she, probably he, is getting to spend the day with us. And we treat them to a trip to Great Missington's Roald Dahl Museum. And perhaps they want to go, they see the gift shop, they want just to go buy a couple of bits. But we've obviously been there before. We've got all the stuff.
Got all the tap.
So we say to them, you go, you get your trinkets.
The suspense.
I'm just waiting for you to stop laughing.
Right, tittering is finishing. Okay, go for it.
You go over there, you get your trinkets. We'll have a little wander around, and when you're ready, we will see you at the Peach.
Ah! Not the beach.